Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Right on to the real, much love to these haters. It's time for the Lakers, it's time for the Lakers. Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Saturday. And first and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we do know that the Lakers on yesterday embarked on the first game of their 10-day road trip for, of course, the Grammys, even though the Grammys have been indeed rescheduled, I believe, to April the 3rd and will be taking place in Las Vegas, I guess, due to the pandemic or whatever. But the NBA had already scheduled these games, considering that they had no idea, knowing that the Grammys would not be being held in Los Angeles at the time. But nonetheless, the Lakers took on Orlando last night at Orlando, and just like I had said previously, when they took on the Pacers, it should be an easy game for the Lakers, for them to go ahead and win and get a notch in the win column. And of course, they did so on last night. They should have actually won by a lot more, to me, in my opinion. But of course, the game was a little bit closer, and they actually trailed at halftime, and that was due to, of course, once again, in my own fair opinion, the coaching of a Frank Vogel. Now, Frank Vogel, to his credit, did switch it up in the second half, although I want to say he did start Dwight Howard at the beginning of that third quarter, until he got to his senses and realized that going small was going to be the best way to attack the Orlando Magic. And they really didn't have a big man that scared them, because even though y'all know who I'm talking about, Bambo, whatever his damn name is, even though he is 7 feet, he doesn't really play big, and he does like to shoot the three, and they kind of stretch the floor with him. So with all that being said, Frank Vogel and staff actually chose to go play small for the majority of the game and bring in Stanley Johnson and play him a lot more minutes. And of course, I think what also helped, Carmelo got hot, of course, because when Carmelo is hitting his shots, then he's very valuable to the Lakers. But if he's not hitting his shots, then he's not valuable at all, because we all know Carmelo has never played defense, even though I have seen him be a little bit more active with his hands as far as trying to strip the ball and things like that. But we all know he is not going to be able to move laterally and keep a defender in front of them, especially when other players are attacking the paint and bodying him up inside the paint. So with all that being said, Carmelo Anthony did not get a lot of minutes last night. He played 17 minutes versus the other night against the Pacers. He played 30 minutes. And I think that's an adjustment that the coaching staff made. If Carmelo's not hot and he's not hitting the three, then what's the purpose of having him in there? Because he is going to be a detriment to your team on the defensive end of the floor. Now, of course, LeBron James did what he usually does on last night, at 29, 7, and 5. Did not quite hit the 30 mark, but he came pretty close. And for all the people who say LeBron James is a stat padder and all that good stuff, the game was still relatively close when he was still in, but they did decide to go ahead and sit him, I want to say, with the 2 or 3 minute mark when the Lakers was up by 12. And to be honest, when the team is up by 12 in today's NBA, all it takes is 3 stops and 3 threes. The next thing you know, you got a ball game, and that's totally possible in today's NBA. So I'm glad that LeBron James actually, for the first time in a long time, did not lead the team in minutes on last night. Actually, Russell Westbrook led the team in minutes last night, and everybody was a plus. Everybody was a plus last night on the floor except for THT. THT, I think, was a -5, and you know, it just wasn't this night. THT was having a little bit of an off night, but I really want to focus on the play of one Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson is on his 3rd 10-day contract. At this point, the Lakers, after this contract is over, they're going to have to either sign him or let him go. And I think at this point, I know they might be considering other trades. There's a lot of rumors swirling around about that of a Jeremy Grant, you know, as well as, of course, we even heard the John Wall rumors, you know, things like that, because Houston is the only team willing to make a trade for Westbrook. But at this point of the season, I just feel like it's too late in the season to be trying to shake things up too drastically, because like I said, we still only have a very small sample size of the Lakers' so-called big three, if you include Russell Westbrook in that equation. It's only been 15 games that Russell Westbrook, LeBron, and AD have played together, which they gone 8-7, which is not a tremendous record, but at the end of the day, it's still a small sample size, and they have to be able to start to work things out. But the thing is, Frank Vogel just needs to nail down his rotation. Guys have no idea each game whether they'll be playing, whether they won't be playing, when they'll be playing. When most other teams, 95% of the teams in the NBA know what their rotation is. The bench players know when they're going to be in. They know, okay, well, at this minute mark, this is when I'll be in. This is, you know, most times it's going to be that same set rotation. And then, of course, you're always going to have to mix it up as far as, you know, what the opposing team subs in different players. You have to mix and match in order to combat what they're doing on the defensive end of the floor, and sometimes even offensively, just depending on what you need a spark for. So with all that being said, I would like to see the rotation. I would like to see Stanley Johnson come in. If he's not starting, I would actually rather see Stanley Johnson starting while Anthony Davis is not here, while Anthony Davis is still injured. However, that hasn't been the case, but maybe 1 or 2 games he did start. But hopefully they figure out that Stanley Johnson is going to be a plus, because any 50-50 ball, he's going to get it. He's not afraid to dive to the floor, get floor burns just to get out there and get the ball. He's going to show the energy and effort on the defensive end. He's going to keep his man in front of him. You know, I just feel like he is the player that the Lakers need to fortify their front line as far as the rest of the season is concerned, because once Anthony Davis comes back, that gives you a lot of options. Even if you want to go small, play LeBron at center the way you've been doing, and have LeBron James and Anthony Davis be your front, be your front court, as far as LeBron being center, AD being the 4, and switching it up depending on, you know, on the offensive end, LeBron can play center, and then on the defensive end, he can move over to the 4 and let AD play center. Just depending on the matchups, because no team is really going big, and I don't give a damn if it's the Denver Nuggets or whoever it is. If they got Jokic, Anthony Davis is more than capable of holding his own. And, you know, I don't really fear any other team in the West center. Somebody in the comments, please tell me what center in the West you think is better than Anthony Davis. Even though Anthony Davis has not been playing the way you come accustomed to see him play the first 7 or 8 years in this league, and he went through a slump that past season. But at the end of the day, with all the marbles on the line, who do you think is a better center than Anthony Davis as far as in the Western Conference? Now, I know anybody will take Joel Embiid, of course, because the way he's dominating the game right now. And, of course, Jokic, of course, is a physical presence and has plenty of talent as far as being able to put the ball in the hole. But at the end of the day, Anthony Davis' defense he's not going to be a slouch, and he's going to give Jokic everything that he can handle, and then he's also going to make Jokic work on the defensive end, which is something that the Lakers would need. And I'm just talking about in a potential playoff matchup, because if you look, you know, Gobert, Stanley Johnson was handling Gobert. So if Stanley Johnson and LeBron was playing small and handling Gobert, then I'm pretty sure Anthony Davis would be able to do the same. Let the Lakers get back fully healthy and whole. And I'm not celebrating last night as, you know, some kind of big accomplishment, because we know the Magic have won, what, 8 or 9 games. So it's not like the Lakers went out and did something. They beat the teams that they were supposed to beat. But they were supposed to beat the Pacers, and they didn't. So, you know, you got to take it one game at a time. Of course, they will be taking on the Miami Heat on tomorrow down on South Beach. Wish I could be there. I love South Beach. I love Miami. However, I won't be able to be in attendance for that. But that's going to be a good game. I think the Lakers tend to play up and down to their competition. But I feel like, you know, the Lakers, I know they played Miami earlier this year. I believe they won, if I'm not mistaken. They may have inked out a victory, if I'm not mistaken, or if it was real close, if they did lose. So it's a game that they're capable of winning. All these games on this East Coast road trip, they're capable of winning. When they take on Brooklyn, Brooklyn, of course, will be without Kyrie because it's a home game. Kevin Durant, as we all know, is injured. So it'll be a game that they can win, even though they did lose last time when it was just Harden. But I feel like, you know, due to COVID and other things, they had some key players out, but they're more fully whole now. And I feel like that they have a great opportunity to win that game. I feel like they got a great opportunity to beat Charlotte. I just feel like, you know, everybody think the Lakers dead in the water, but I just still don't think so yet. And I don't know if anybody saw the interview from Russell Westbrook on yesterday or read it, but his comments to me were great. You know, you could say he cried or left the stadium and did all of this and that, but according to what Russell Westbrook said, he was told by the coaching staff to leave crypto.com early and not to talk to the media because they knew maybe he might say something or something like that. But it seems like everybody is on the same page. And, you know, they asked Westbrook, was he disappointed for getting benched? And he came with the right answer. And his answer was, I'm more disappointed that we lost the game, and I'm willing to sacrifice and do anything it takes to get a victory and to get us closer to trying to win a championship, because that is still all of our aspirations. So, you know, Westbrook is definitely taking the right attitude, man. These people are professionals. Vogel taking the right attitude. I think as long as he has the support of his coaching staff and the support of the organization, because ESPN, they'll come out and try to shake stuff up, and they try to rock the boat with the Lakers and put out these stories. Oh, Frank Vogel got permission to bench Vogel. Man, that man coaching. What you mean permission? People come out with this stuff. Name your source. Name your source. What a poor, pathetic job of being a journalist if you come out and make up these stories. But what source? So who said this, that they gave him permission to do that? Because at the end of the day, when they named him the head coach, they gave him a permission to be the damn coach and coach how he wants to. He don't need to go and say, oh, well, when can I bench Westbrook? Oh, can I bench Westbrook at the end of the game? Man, that's such baloney, man. They try to start stuff and get sound bites. That's why LeBron, you know, sidestepped all those questions when they was trying to get him to trip up and say anything, because they want to add some kind of fuel to the fire and rock the boat of the great Lakers organization. But I'm telling you right motherfucking now, that's not going to happen. And I do want to mention Steven Adams for the Grizzlies, because I said a center that's dominant. And I'm telling you what, if the Lakers do face the Grizzlies in the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see if they try to go small or if they go ahead like they did in the first matchup, which was close with the Grizzlies, and go big. But at the end of the day, it'll be very interesting, because I just feel like, you know, best 4 out of 7. You look at personnel, Golden State is struggling since Klay came back. You know, the Phoenix Suns, they are what they are. Until Anthony Davis got hurt last year, everybody was still going to pick the Lakers over them. I still would pick the Lakers over Phoenix Suns if they're fully healthy and playing the way that they're capable of playing. And the way they played Utah the other day, it shows you that they know how to play defense. They know how to get up into a player and be physical with them and to close out. You know, when you got players like Austin Reeves who can continue to take charge, just play the passing lanes, get steals, fight through the screens, do all the dirty work that's necessary, play good pick and roll defense, not get caught up on the switches, giving the good weak side help from the weak side of the floor, then the Lakers are going to, I think, really develop into a special team. And I think after the All-Star break is when you're going to see them really turn it up. So at the end of the day, as long as the Lakers finish in that 6th, 5th spot, I think they're good to go, because who in the hell can you get to stop them? Who in the hell can you get to stop them is what I'm trying to tell you, because LeBron James playing fully healthy and playing the way that he's playing right now, and the playoffs start, that's what you need, because the playoffs is a different animal. Once you're in the playoffs, you got to realize teams are zeroing in on their targets. Teams are zeroing in on who they're playing, and the schemes get thrown out the window basically, because now you're going against that same team at least 4 times at a minimum. And once you start going at those teams 4 times at a minimum, then you get to know one another. And after that, it's not really too much about X's and O's. It's about who wants it more, because you can only make so many damn adjustments against the same team. Like the first game might be a fill-out game, and then after that you start to make these minor adjustments. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all about matchups, and I feel like the Lakers can match up with anybody in the association, even though everybody might think I'm delusional and their record doesn't show it. But it takes time to mesh, and you got to think about all the variables that's going on during the season. LeBron James missed 13 games, and Anthony Davis missed 15 games, and then you had so many players out due to protocol that were in and out of the lineup. The Lakers have had 23 different starting lineups this year. They haven't nailed down a rotation. Like I said, I want them to go ahead and sign Stanley Johnson to a contract at least through the end of this year. Malik Monk, he's been in a little bit of a slump. Frank Vogel needs to play Malik Monk with LeBron a little bit more on the floor. I know he's coming to the bench, but at the end of the day, the recipe for success for the Lakers, I feel, is LeBron James with the bench, is a good lineup, and then stagger their minutes. When you got Russ, don't rest him and LeBron at the same time. Let Russ play that same role with the bench, because basically it's a pick and pop league almost. So you just need Russ and LeBron to be able to penetrate, which both of them are more than capable of doing as far as breaking down the defenses. And once they do that, they can kick out the open shooters. The Lakers just need to hit their open shots. And Stanley Johnson, I've been high on him, and you see last night he was 3 out of 4 from 3. So if he can stretch the floor and also be able to hit threes while doing the same thing that he's doing on defense, I'm telling you what, it's going to be trouble for a lot of teams. So I won't harp on it too much, because I got a big day today, because we all know the Tennessee Titans is coming to kick some ass today, and everybody better tighten their ass on up. But that's a video for another day. So as always, this your boy B New. I'm screaming right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.